What's going on? It's Joel Casanova. Today is the first day, whenever or wherever you are watching this, that it's warm. And after this live stream, I'm gonna cry myself out of happiness. Um, Not so over the cold, but it's warm, so this is awesome. First things first. My name is Joel Casanova, and I'm the creator and founder of Beat Hunter Dance, and this talk show exists to help your dance journey be healthy, productive, and 100% yours. So, wherever you are, throw something in the chat, either on Instagram or on Facebook and YouTube. Just say what your favorite season is and why is it summer. Okay, so today we're talking about something I talked about last week, which was um, the POV curriculum. The POV curriculum is an ebook that I'm writing for dancers. I think it can apply to a lot of artists and just people in general about your mindset on things. However, I wrote it for dancers, and there are 6 steps to it. Okay, success, focus, alignment, self-worth, standards, and purpose. Right. So as we go into each category, it kind of gets deeper. Not necessarily that they're any more important than the others. They're all important, and depending on where you are in your dance journey, it shifts based off of what you need to understand and what you need to grow in. We all need to grow in something, but who we're actually, like, where we need to change depends on where we are in our dance journey. Today, I'm talking about success, specifically the success point of view. Okay, for Beat Hunter Dance specifically, success is found at an intersection. An intersection is when you're presented with an opportunity or a choice in life, right? You're auditioning for a musical theater production, or you are deciding whether to go from one studio to the other studio, or whether you're choosing to have an idea or choose an idea or not choose an idea or not, right? Life presents us with options, and we need to take the direction. We either turn, if you're at an intersection, you turn left or you turn right, or you keep going straight, right? Based off of, or if there's more directions in the intersection, I suppose you can totally do that. Or if you're in Europe and you're in a roundabout, there's even more, right? The idea is where you are at the intersection and where you turn is dependent on what success means to you. This is very different from how it's widely accepted when it comes to success in general. Okay? Success in general is seen in America, but also in a lot of other places as a ladder. Okay, so as you're going up, let me know if you can hear me in the chat. I think my sound is off. Okay. So success, what I'm talking about is success in the point of view that I'm taking, which is an intersection. And when it comes to success in like the widely accepted view of the world, especially in the dance world, it's a ladder, right? So we have this constant rung after rung after rung, and where you are on the ladder depends on your success. Okay, so if I'm higher than someone else or lower than someone else, right? Okay, perfect. If I'm higher than someone else or lower than someone else, that lets me know where I'm at in the social strata. Okay, like if someone's below me, how many people below me versus how many people are above me, right? And bigger is always better, right? If you're more known, if you have more opportunities, if you have more things, you are automatically successful. It doesn't matter what you're doing or where you're doing it or when you're doing it or who you are when you're doing it, right? For Beat Hunter Dance, for what I'm saying in dance success, success is based off of your specific personal journey. Your specific personal journey dictates what success is to you as you're traveling on your path. There's a lot of different examples that I could give. I'm going to give a couple today. So very first thing, I started off at a studio called Revelation Dance Studio when I was younger, right? And then I was there for a couple of years. I went straight into the competition team. We were competing. It was so fun. It really gave me the foundation of who I am as a dancer today. Super grateful. But when I got to around 15, 16, that's when I moved to a different studio, because where I was in my dance journey, I needed something different. Now, I did not do any of this as intentional as I'd like to have, looking back, but that's why Behind Dance exists. I'm trying to help you to make choices on your dance journey that are intentional. So these aren't always intentional, depending on the example I'm going to give you. But this one was like, I feel like God's telling me I need to change what I need to do with dance. Needs to shift somehow. So I found another studio, which was not as like clean and pristine and professional necessarily, but it had a higher degree of intentionality. It's like we are not just dancing because we're dancing. We're dancing because we want to do this professionally. We want to make a career out of this. I'm consistently growing who I am as a dancer so that I can continue growing, right? We're freestyling. We are choreographing for each other. We're taking those pieces of choreography and taking them to competition. We had like story ideas that we'd make into our competition pieces, but we are the ones choreographing it. So the responsibility fell on us to grow and push each other past the limits that we had. I could have continued at the first studio that I was at, and I could have grown a whole ton. I could have even potentially went straight into teaching there, right? But I didn't. I moved to a different studio because that is where my success path was leading me. And so I hit this intersection. Do I leave where I've been at and move somewhere else, or do I stay? Right? Do I continue going on one specific road, or do I take a turn? And for me, success was taking a turn and going to a different studio, right? That led me to finding conventions. I had no idea what conventions were until I went to that studio. I went to the Christian convention called Dance Revolution. Blew my mind incredibly. Got connected to the people who ran the convention, specifically the hip-hop teacher who ran the convention, ended up going to Virginia. So the reason why I'm here, I own B100 Dance and I'm running this talk show, is because I moved studios. Did I know that? Not at all. There's no way I could have foreseen that. But that when you take the right turn, right, like correct for you turn on your success path, you realize how important that decision was. Okay. Then there is teaching, right? When I am in Virginia already, I am working for a studio. I decided to stick with my ideas on the different things that I was creating. And so after I was done teaching at the first studio I ever taught at in Virginia, I taught for like 60 million different dance studios, right? If you look at my resume, it looks like someone who's like schizophrenic, right? It's like I'm everywhere, all on the map. However, I specifically chose different places and as many places as possible. Intentionally? Not necessarily, but the result was I got the experience that I needed to become the teacher I am today, right? I've been constantly, ever since I moved to Virginia, I was shifting gears from just dancer to choreographer and instructor. And that's my passion, creating choreography, instructing people to grow in how they are as dancers and who they are as dancers, or how they move as dancers and who they are as dancers, right? So as I taught for so many different places, I got so many different experiences that I was able to say like, oh, this is what I'm here for. Like, this is why this happened, right? So I could have been like, okay, I'm no longer at the first studio that I was at. Let me choose one specific other studio and just get as many hours there as possible. Just specifically like logistically I need to get paid. I'm going to have as many hours as possible at one place. Instead, I went to a bunch of different studios, and because the success for me at that moment was staying in the training of being a teacher, having a bunch of different students who are very, very different in front of me and saying how I can give success to them and train them for what they need at this moment. Right? So that was the next one of the other turns that I made. Right? I could have gone one studio, one place, stay there. Instead, it's like turn, so I have like a bunch of different intersections, and I kind of went in and out of those intersections. Finally, I have 2019, right before 2020 happened. Right? I am looking for a place to teach my classes, my students. So I have a revelation. I believe God told me, and I decide to go with the direction of go online for lessons. This is right before 2020, right before everything shut down. Everything was online, right? So in my mind, that was the dumbest idea ever. I was like, this is not okay. But I felt that was the next intersection for me. I don't have a space. I'm looking to do my students' lessons. What do I do? Where do I do it? How do I do it? Online lessons. So this is a perfect example of how success for us individually doesn't always feel good. It's about what actually is success. Okay, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to go online. This is what's happening. But if I'm doing it online, I'm not just going to post stuff on YouTube and hope people pay for me for it. I'm going to make it interactive, right? We're going to do one-on-one lessons, private lessons. I'm going to send you a video. You're going to send me back homework. And it's going to be this back and forth messaging where I kind of YouTuber react to your videos and send that reaction to you privately. Okay? So as I'm doing that, I'm figuring out the system, seeing how I can say it and explain it to people and give it to the students that I have in my roster at the time. And then everything shuts down. And so because I decided to take that intersection and be like, listen, I could just do the classic thing, or I could do the classic thing for online lessons, which is awful, or was awful at the time. Instead, I'm going to lean into this decision. And this seems like success for me and my business, where I'm at specifically. So I went for it. And that ended up being how I started doing private lessons and kind of specializing in private lessons. Anyone can come to me and take private lessons from me. I know how to teach them specifically as them. Right? I learned how to connect with people online, so I don't have to just have in-person lessons. I work with people who are online right now. I just got off, before this live stream, I just got off an online lesson, and I have another online lesson tonight. And I have Hip Hop Musicality also right after that. So like the online presence is something that I developed into who I am because that was success for me back then, 2019, 2020. And years later, it's still part of who I am. And I never would have discovered that, or I might have discovered that in a different way, more roundabout way, instead of just saying, you know what? I'm going to take this, regardless of how it feels. This is success for me. I don't understand it right now, but I'm going to take that turn. Right? So, number one, transitioning from one studio to another. Right? What do I need right now? And you should consider that where you are. If you're at a company or a dance studio or a program, right? Is this giving me what I need right now? And what do I need right now? And could I get that somewhere else? Right? Your dance journey should be owned by you. You shouldn't just stay at one studio because you are where you are. I have a mentee who used to go to multiple places and get training at multiple studios at the same time because they gave him individual things that he needed for his own dance journey. Or Jessica Rocky this past Wednesday. She was talking about, I interviewed her, and she was talking about how she went to one place because it was like family oriented and it had that close knit family vibe. And then she also added on another studio, which was a lot more technical training for her to grow in the skill that she had in ballet. And so she was like, I need and want both of these things. I don't have to do any of these things, but I want to do both. Right? For me, I was like, I need to transition studios because I still want to do competition. I still think that would be fun, but I need to do it in a different context. And that's where I first started choreographing, which is crazy. And then going into multiple different places. What is the goal of what you're doing right now? Is that success for you right now? Right? I could just go to one place because I was looking for a job. Instead, I got multiple jobs because the goal of my success, the success journey, had me on learning to teach all these places. And that was success for me at that moment in my life. Now I specifically teach for myself only. And then I have an after school program that I run, but it's basically just me. It's not like I'm going through the school, right? So I go to the school and teach their students, and I'm in charge of what they're learning, how the parents pay me, and all the different stuff. It's B100 Dance implanted into a school, right? So it's like I'm just teaching for myself, and that's success for me right now, instead of teaching for 1,000 different other places. And then finally, okay, how do I do things that is different from other people? And how does that look when I'm practically teaching people? Think through how you're doing it. Your teaching style, your learning style, your classes should all be centered around how you think and how you dance. Because you might find out that later down the road, you're like, because I chose what was successful for me, even if I didn't like it necessarily at the time, that has now become part of who I am as a dancer and who I am as a person. Right? The personal aspect is now like inseparable from Joel Casanova and Beat Hunter Dance. Right? But when it happened at the time, the success was not, taking the success path was not necessarily pleasurable or enjoyable or even securing. Like, I didn't feel secure in it because I've never done it before. And now I'm like, someone's like, hey, I would love to do online lessons. 2020, I taught someone because I was doing that session. I added on live online lessons. And so Heidi, this woman in Oregon, this lady in Oregon got lessons from me because she discovered me, and now I know each other. We're still friends on Facebook, and I used to teach her lessons all the time. And it was just her learning to do things that she wanted to do because she wanted to learn how to dance. Crazy. There's no way I could have done that or planned that. But now that one-on-one personal, like, what are you dancing for, is now part of me because of all the different decisions that I've made, because I decided this is success for me, or unintentionally decided this is success for me, and I took that path. So you are presented with decisions all the time, every day. I think I'm going to butcher this quote, but there's something like, we make something like 5,000 or 2,000 decisions every day. I think like 50 to 60% of them are like impulse. We just do what naturally comes to us instead of being intentional. Change that percentage. Make them intentional, especially when it's something big that has to do with how you are as a person. Right? So, what is success for me? How am I defining it? And if it's not just being bigger or being better or getting more money or having more students, how else would it be successful? If I'm trying to be successful and it has nothing to do with being more, what would you define as success? Especially as a dancer. Or even if you're not like specifically a dancer or whatever that means, if you love dancing or you're doing something as business or you're doing something as art or you're doing something as a person and you're sitting here thinking, what is success for me? Really think about it. And the classic thing will be like, you are selling 5,000 more products than you did yesterday. Okay, more products, which means more money, which means more clients. Okay, but if it's not more, what is it? Think about it. Like, actually answer the question. Don't just make it a hypothetical. Okay, so I hope that sparked some thought. wrong one. Okay. BeHunterDance.com, at BeHunterDance on Instagram. Joelle M. Casanova on Instagram as well. Joelle Casanova on Facebook. BeHunterDance on Facebook. Just BeHunterDance and Joelle Casanova. You'll find me. Okay. Hit me up. DM me. Comment on something. I'd love to start this conversation in a way that's more personal. I'd love to make this personalized to you. And if you don't, at least like something and say, hey, great talk show. Okay. So this Wednesday, we're going to be talking with my friend Sam Regs. He is in Kenya. Super fun conversation. The dude's mind is unparalleled. I love the way he thinks. And then this is success. One of the 6, 5 plus 1, right? One of the 6 different things that we're doing. Every Monday, I'll be going over another piece of the POV curriculum and what that means and how we can integrate it to how we dance and how we live and dance in a way that is productive, healthy, productive, and 100% yours. Okay? Happy dancing. I'll see you hopefully tonight at Hip Hop Musicality.